All right, happy Friday, y'all. We are back like we never left. Another episode of the small cap review for you today. Today I got three names I want to go over. Some of the leading gappers: VERO, TPHS, and LFLY. So to start at the top of the list, we'll do VERO. It was 152% gapper, so super extended gapper. If we look at it on the daily, we are opening right below a bunch of pivots. And we also had this prior day run up here on the 22nd in the recent history that I'm sure created, some bag holders on this drop. So we had overhead pressure in the form of pivots and bag holders. And then if we look at the chart, this was a name that ran in the after hours as well, created some volume up here when it opened for the pre-market session, rejects it, and then comes up and tests it later in the pre-market and cannot get through that prior volume and sells off. So what do we have at the open? This is definitely a name to be, at least in my book, be short biased on. And how are we going to trade it? Ideally, we would have had a little bit more of a bounce, but we end up just rejecting this first pivot here and fades off into this down halt. So this name was, it had okay volume, it was pretty solid, but with the volume that was traded up here, let's see how much it was. Can't be that much this late in after hours, I wouldn't think. And about 2 million there, and then here in the pre-market, about 6 million. So yeah, almost 8 million shares overhead here, just in between this 170 and 180 range for it to have to try to fight through. And like I said, it can't even make it through this pivot. It has this pivot, all these pivots were rejected in the pre-market and after hours here, where it comes up and tries to break through it, down pivot here, and then just a strong rejection there. So a pretty clean name to the short side, pretty easy one to get reads on, and whether you're playing this first level, playing VWAP, playing the EMAs, really however you played it on the short side, you get rewarded today on it. So good play there. I would expect this thing to continue fading. Let's see where the 5-minute 200 is. Oh, already hit 5-minute 200. So nice price target hit there. If we go there to the 5-minute 200, 25% gain in a couple minutes. Super easy play. So nice one there. And then I traded TPHS and LFLY. Yeah, we'll do TPHS now. Just flash this on the screen for a second just to show I'm not making anything up. Did trade these names. Excuse me. So what do we have here on this name? So this one gapped up, I think it was like 70%. Yeah, 75% on this name. So a little bit more extended than what I usually trade gappers wise, but with the way that this set up in pre-market, I did like the look. Appreciated how it was a late popper in the pre-market, which means that it's not going to generate a ton of volume, not a ton of, long chasers getting in and getting bagged up top, not a ton for it to have to fight through. And so when you do see good volume at the open, that is a promising sign. So when it pushed up to VWAP here, I was hoping that it would reject it before open. That would make it actually a little bit more bullish for me than if it were to, say this happened here and it opened up here around, closer to 25 cents. I am not as interested there since we had the pre-market zone and then a couple levels above. Let's actually talk about the levels before we get into the chart. So red level here is the VWAP from the state that it previously ran. We also get a clue from the behavior here where you get a spike and then it ends up fading hard. So a name to be cautious with on the long side. You know that you can get a good move out of it, but not one to marry. And then you have a bunch of pretty clear pivots here, here, up here. I mean, clear as day, this one up here at 375. And then I have this zone drawn up here from the highs of these pivots right here. So I think it was a pretty clean one and pretty easy one to have mapped out. And then of course on the bottom side here at 20 cents, nice round number, and you get the upper wick here. So there's the pivots and how we had them marked out. So back to the opening price action. Like I said, I was happy to see it reject here, and the ways that I would be interested is maybe some wicks under this 20 cent level and volume starts to build, or strong volume out of the gates for a push higher to these, you know, 30 cent levels up here. So we do get that increased volume, and right off the bat, it looked like the 4-to-1 volume ratio was going to happen that we're looking for. So here in the pre-market had, we'll call it 30 million shares traded, and then here just it took 15 minutes to double that, and by the time we get to 10:30, we get 192 million shares traded. So well over the 4-to-1 ratio that we're looking for there. Where I traded it was here on this flag on VWAP here. I ended up actually not having the best entry or the best fill on it. I was here, well, we'll look and say exactly what we were in at. 24.21. So yeah, it was up, you know, up towards the top of this candle, not quite at the upper wick, but I saw it bouncing this bottom wick off VWAP and it's starting to build. So I thought it would maybe go from there, but it did pull back a little bit more before making that move. I had my stop set at the low of this candle, so never had too crazy of a risk. I was able to not get stopped out while it moved a little bit lower. But as we see, well, here we get the building volume, which is exactly what you want to see. I took some profits up here in this liquidation area towards the pre-market highs, and then was able to let the rest work up into these upper pivots. So what was I looking for once price was moving here? I actually really liked this, this group of candles, this move here. We, moved up into the obvious, you know, obvious place for people to take profit. For maybe some shorts are going to enter here. We had that prior day VWAP, daily levels, pre-market zone, and we get that stronger sell-off, but still holding the 8 EMA on the 2-minute. And then right away it gets absorbed and pushed back up to the high. So that was super bullish for me. I really like that. And from there, it's just bullish action up to the top. We get the again a test and a absorption of these key levels, and then a push higher again, key level tested, holds, pushes higher, and then we get this, at this point it's high day volume up here into the most obvious levels on the chart and a rejection from it. So I took the rest of my profits up here, and once we saw this rejection, but I was still cognizant that this could make another move. I mentioned in the Discord room that I'm in, not my room, not selling anything, not even mentioning the room. But I mentioned to a couple people that as long as the pre-market zone holds, the previous day VWAP holds, these levels, there's a lot of levels. As long as it holds here, we're going to get a move higher, or at least we could. And you see these really nice lower wicks, that keep getting absorbed. You have exactly what we want to see volume-wise, this decreasing volume, and then the ramp up of volume. So this was really a picture perfect play here that you could have taken for the biggest leg of the move. Talk about quick money percentage-wise. Let's see. We're looking at over a 50% move right here in 4 minutes. So awesome play. Congrats to those who caught it. It's really nice when you have a play that is, I don't want to use the word obvious, but I'll use the word clean. A very clean move, respecting, again, I almost use it, respecting clear levels on the daily. And really get a really strong follow through to the upside. So we've really been in a nice market for continuation plays, especially with the penny runners. Maybe it's died down a little bit this week compared to what we've had in the prior weeks. Started with FFIE, but obviously still some great moves to be had. From 22 cents up to almost 50 cents. So great moves. Congrats to those who caught it, and it gave also really nice opportunity on the short side here too. So, like I said, this is a clear daily zone. You have this big squeeze out of the earlier shorts that were in there. So it kind of cleans the slate up a little bit. And the way that I would look to play it is get the fibs out and get them drawn here. Let me change color. And so I'm looking for anything up into the 61 to 78 fib range. So anything in here would have been good to take and given you really nice risk reward, just risking the high of day and hoping to, if we're going by the history of the previous candle, break even below the opening price and close red. So to be seen if we get that drastic of a move, but that's what I'd be looking for. Danger signs are if this level holds the levels that we're holding previously, and once those do break, if they do, you know that you are in a very good spot. So that is how I would be looking to trade that on the short side. So last name I want to cover, and then going to tune into that Roaring Kitty live stream like I'm sure some of you are. So what was I looking for on this play? This one wasn't gapped up as much, 51%. So yeah, I guess these names are the top three gappers, which isn't always how it works out. But yeah, going into the day, LFLY and TPHS were the clear, obvious watches for me. I was looking for the previous hive day to be a key level, and then this zone above it after that. So if we go to the daily chart, really not a ton of pivots to map out on this one, and the ones that are pretty clear. So this is where I get the daily zone from, these upper wicks and pivots. You have these upper pivots here and the bottom of this consolidation zone. So that's all I had. It was pretty clean there. And so, like I said, I was looking for the previous high of day to hold. When we opened here, only two scenarios where I was going to trade it, either a dip to this previous high day that gets absorbed and pushes with volume, or really strong volume out of the gate and a pullback to this 335 range. Let me pull up a 1 minute chart. Maybe it's going to show what I was seeing in real time a little better. Not, yeah, you do actually get a little better here. Let me pull this up. Okay, so right away, you can see we're going to get the volume that we want compared to the pre-market. That is extremely obvious right away, and what I wanted to see to be able to trade this name. So once we busted through this zone, I was looking for a pullback to it. I tried to enter close to 335. I got a pretty bad fill on it. Ended up, I was, probably closer to 350 on the name, which I didn't really want, but it is what it is. And then we get this nice move to the upside from there. Let me look at the 2 minute because this is how this is what I look at when I trade. So yeah, entered around 350, and then actually was pretty quick to take profits on this name. I was selling up here a little bit under 4. I mean, we can see exactly what it was. Yeah, sells in the 380s. So ended up actually because of the bad fill down here at 350, going to 380. It's really only a 10% move, which is not really what I'm looking for, but that's fine. It is what it is. We'll take the wins where we get them. Ended up actually getting stopped out right here. I was just playing the low at the prior candle, and at this point, I saw TPHS setting up how I liked it, and I really liked the range on TPHS. And given the fact that this was kind of an only up move out of the gate, I thought a pullback to this zone was definitely possible, and I didn't want anything to go against my average. I just wanted to take profits and be in the green so I could focus on TPHS. And so, like I said, ended up taking shares at 380 and getting stopped out the rest down here. Um, you know, bottom tick this thing at like 355. So again, is what it is. Could have had a nice move up to the 420s, and that would have been kind of the move we're looking for. Closer to 20%. And then again, really nice play here on the short side, where you get this push up and rejection. As always, fibs out for the short game. Change the colors, make it pretty. And up here, 61.78 fib, bang. And a really clean play for this one. Since it did have that prior high of day, it looks like it is going to crack it, but that's kind of where my price target would have been on this name, is down here at the previous high, which is still a 30% move. And where's that 5-minute 200? Let's see. Way below. So maybe we even end up getting a move like that. But yeah, so a bunch of pretty clean plays here on the short side, long side, however you want to play it, as long as you waited for an actual setup. They played out with a continuation to whatever side the play was looking like. So hopefully you guys had a good Friday, a good week, and yeah, I'm sure we're all anxious to see what this live stream is about to be about. I know GameStop had that crazy action after hours. Watch that happen in real time, and then dropping the offering on the B2B5 this morning. So more to be seen. I'm sure this thing will not go quietly. With all the eyes on it. So good luck if you're trading this. You're a maniac, but I still love you. Have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Make these videos 3, 4, 5 times a week. So if you are interested just in a recap of the small cap plays of the day, talking risk management, talking strategies, this is the place for it. So feel free to like and subscribe. Leave any questions, comments, topics down in the comment section below, and I will get back to you. And thanks again for tuning in. Have a good one.